The Arch Manning for Heisman conversation was probably a little premature.
Greetings and salutations, and welcome to the Eye Coaches Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Keith Adams. And on today's Throwdown Thursday edition, we discussed week one of the college football season. In segment one, we talk about the Power Four schools. In segment two, we talk about the Group of Six. And in segment three, we talk about things strictly for entertainment purposes only. With us today, academic and athletic consultant for the Eye Coaches Podcast, George Ockard, and our favorite administrator, Robert Abney. Gentlemen, we're going to start in the SEC. Top four, because we're still using preseason, because it's a combination of week 0 and 1 fans, so don't go crazy. We had Texas, Georgia, Alabama, and LSU, and on the outside looking in, we had South Carolina, Ole Miss, Florida, Tennessee, and Texas A&M. We do tape on Sunday, and we have an extended week of Sunday games and Monday games. But, George, any thoughts on the SEC this week? Go in any direction you want, sir.
SEC is going to continue to be tough this year. I think they're going to be one of the tougher conferences. What week one did show me is that it's always a coin flip scheduling a good team from another conference. All right. I know, and we love it as fans, and it's something worthwhile seeing. But you take your chances. It's like playing Russian roulette out here. The big takeaway from this weekend is going to be that, Alabama's not Alabama of old. This is not Nick Saban's Alabama. And I think to me personally, because of the transfer portal and the way the rules are now, it has really leveled the playing field in a lot of situations. And you got a number of players that were good and were overlooked, got a chance to leave, and now wind up at these or have some, as we would call, season into them, and end up at other schools, and they're making a difference. And you saw it on the field last night, all day actually yesterday. So yeah, we got some. I don't I don't think anybody wants to head down to Louisiana right now and play Tulane. Let's put it like that. That's one place nobody really wants to go. So,
all right, Robert, how are the natives, sir, in Texas?
Oh, there's some wailing and gnashing of teeth. There's some, what you really saw yesterday is, to me, I saw two really good defenses, and I saw Texas miss a bunch of opportunities. You have the ball 3 times inside the 20 and you get exactly 0 points. And I've always been a guy, you get down there, you score. You make sure you score. Because if you don't, if they kick 3 field goals, all of which were makeable, well, then we're having a different conversation. The Arch Manning for Heisman conversation was probably a little premature. He didn't play terrible, but let's face it, if you have a new quarterback, it's probably better for you and your offense and your team to play St. Agnes for the blind and one-legged before you go play Ohio State. That probably would have been helpful to him. Because Texas outgained Ohio State. They have more passing yards, more rushing yards, but they also turned the ball over one time. And they also, which didn't lead to any points, and they also had more penalties. So, I wouldn't take away too much from that game other than Texas has much less margin for error than they did previously. That's really it.
And Keith, what I will say, and Robert's right about one point, that at the beginning of the year, the beginning of the season, always the defense is ahead of the offense.
Oh
when
yeah.
we were playing. And you could look at almost all of the games yesterday, especially the big games. You could look and you could tell at the beginning of the game that the defense was at a whole, functioning at a whole higher level than any offense we took a look at. And in a lot of cases, like in the Texas game, it came back to bite them in the behind. And then, well, Alabama game, it wasn't even, it didn't matter because once Florida State got cooking, it was a whole nother story. So, but
Well,
yes,
but an important distinction there, and I agree with Ock. The defense in general yesterday was way ahead of the offense. LSU Clemson was the same way. Defense was way ahead of the offense. The one difference was Florida State. Why? They had a quarterback come in the portal from another Power 4 school who played all last year. So you're not talking about a new quarterback. You're talking about a guy who's been on the field. Ohio State, new quarterback. Texas, new quarterback. Alabama, new quarterback. So, I mean, you can read it. We're reading way too much into all of this, obviously, because if we don't, what do we have to talk about, right?
All right, so we're going to jump to the Big Ten. And again, all preseason stuff because we're combining week 0 and week 1. Ohio State, Penn State, we are. Oregon and Illinois outside looking in. Michigan, Indiana, USC, Iowa, Nebraska. George, thoughts on the Big Ten this week? Only 2 pretty bad losses, Northwestern and UCLA, but everybody else seemed to do well.
I mean, there were no surprises. To start the season off, Penn State does their regular and plays a cupcake. Ohio State's defense looked ready for battle. And they showed the wherewithal that they're going to be a good team. You know, I think if I was scheduling and if I happened to be a college coach, it would probably be Sisters of the Poor week 1, and then I would go get a heavyweight week 2 because we got to get the dust knocked off to go. Penn State won't see a heavyweight till about week 4 or something, 5 or something like that, if they even see one. But it's a good test. I think they are Big Ten for the most part as who we thought they were for who we were expecting. Now, the one big surprise that I'm going to continue to watch going down the road is Maryland because the kid out of Spalding looked great yesterday. And I don't think anybody was really expecting that, especially with a first-year quarterback. So you're gonna wait to see what he does and how he looks against tougher competition. But yeah, if there was any bright spot or surprise, it was Maryland. So we're gonna continue to watch them and see how they go because they could play they could play a spoiler in a lot of events if they're even close to what they could be. Because you're looking at probably the number 14 in the Big Ten right now. So we'll see how it will.
Robert, any thoughts on the Big Ten as we conclude week 1?
No. I mean, if I were a Michigan or an Indiana fan, I might be a little concerned about not beating New Mexico and Old Dominion worse than you did. But I mean, I didn't watch either of those games, so I don't know what coaches were doing, what they were trying, if they were playing a bunch of guys, if they were getting a bunch of reps. I have no idea because I didn't watch either of those games. But if you look at the score, I mean, Michigan was favored by, I don't know, 35 or 40 points, and they wound up winning 34-17. Does that mean anything? I don't know. Maybe not.
They're breaking in a new quarterback too this year, so he's a freshman too, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So.
All right, Robert, I'm going to stay with you. Big 12, Arizona State, Kansas State, Iowa State, BYU, outside looking in, preseason, of course, Texas Tech, Utah, pretty good. TCU and Colorado. How are the natives in Texas, and do we care that Colorado lost to Georgia Tech?
Well, I mean, Utah looked really good, although it's hard. I mean, yeah, UCLA got Nico Iamaleava, but He didn't
Not
look
much.
good at all. I
And
mean,
not much else.
well, but you got. I mean, you have to have people block to block for you, and you have to have people to throw to. Otherwise, it doesn't matter. Colorado, yeah, that's hard. I mean, there wasn't a lot of noise about Colorado in the offseason, so obviously the portal didn't treat them as well as maybe they had hoped. I don't know. Texas Tech, they had to delay the game because they had a 70-mile-per-hour windstorm blow through Lubbock in the middle of the game. But you can't take anything away from that. So that's
Okay, George, Big 12. Any thoughts?
I'm concerned. My ears perked up with Kansas State because Little Sisters of the Poor took them to the wire last night. They had to come in to get ready to pull that one out right there. So that was mine. I was a little shocked seeing that one. The only I wasn't too worried about Colorado. Colorado's never been. They kind of look like they got breaking into all those new players, and they're all and you're playing against Georgia Tech, who Georgia Tech's one of those teams that you're scared to schedule because they can run the ball down your throat, and they're gonna be physical as hell. Ask Georgia from last year, and it doesn't matter who's suited up, who puts the GTO on the front of the jersey. So I was like, nothing shocking or surprising out of the Big 12.
All right, and to
I will
close
say,
off,
I will say this, Kansas State played North Dakota. North Dakota is they're a perpetual playoff team in the
FCS.
the bowl, the FCS. They're a perpetual bowl, playoff team. They're usually top 8. They're pretty good. If I'm looking for an easy game, I'm not scheduling Big Sky teams.
Right.
It's a bad decision, in my opinion.
Was it North Dakota they played? I thought they played
It was North Dakota. It was not North Dakota State.
Okay, I knew North
But
Dakota.
North Dakota is still good.
Yeah.
Not North Dakota State, though.
No, yeah. I'm not throwing any dirt on North Dakota. Yeah.
All right, and to wrap up, ACC and Notre Dame, top 4: Notre Dame, Clemson, Miami, SMU. So Clemson took an L. George, is this screaming crazy L, or what are you thinking about the ACC and Clemson in particular?
I mean, no. I mean, we might see that game in a few months for the national championship. We might see a repeat of that game for the national championship in a few months. I think they both. Clemson looks solid. Defensive wise, like I said before, offense is ahead of defense, and it's one of those things. I think we're waiting to see what Miami's really going to be like. We'll see that tonight or tomorrow night. I forgot when they're playing. And they got Notre Dame, so that'll be interesting. And then we know one thing though. We know one of the old dogs is back in the fight in the ACC this year because Florida State let everybody know that last year was an anomaly and we'll be back. And that's what happens when you have Ungale as a quarterback. He's ruined he's ruined 3 school seasons in a row. And that goes Clemson, that goes Florida State, and that goes Oregon State. So now that he's gone, that that these teams are back where they're supposed to be. So yeah, now it's on the lookout for who's going to beat Florida State. Let's put it like that. Clemson might be that other team, but you know what? I am very intrigued and very interested. The one game I will be definitely watching is Monday night because I want to see UNC with Belichick as coach because he got a mess of kids in. He got a number of kids to flip to come to UNC. I want to see what they look like. I want to see what he's going to do because they could be a player in this whole situation.
All right, and Robert, any thoughts from you about the ACC as we wrap up segment 1?
I'll commit the defense is ahead of the offense. You had it the other way, but the defense is ahead of the offense this time of year. If I'm Clemson, maybe mildly concerned because, you have a veteran quarterback and you would think on offense you'd play a little better. But LSU's no joke. I mean, LSU is no joke. I will say I thought, and it might have been a function of, the defenses. I think both offenses were a little loose with the football, and I felt like both offenses were a little less disciplined than they should be. But again, the defenses were both really good. We'll know more about the ACC. We're taping on Sunday morning. We'll know more about the ACC after Notre Dame and Miami play tonight.
Yeah. All right. So fans, in segment 2, we'll talk about the group of 6. Some teams made us smile and some teams didn't. We'll be right back on the Odd Coaches Podcast. Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Keith Adams, and for years, I've witnessed the struggles student athletes face on how to truly balance the demands of academics and athletics. It's a question that I have dedicated my life to answering. That's why I wrote Finding the Balance, my personal journey to academic and athletic success. It's more than just a book. It is my personal journey, and it is filled with hard-earned lessons from decades as a coach, educator, and now president of the CKA Safe Project. Inside, you will find practical advice, real-life stories, and a clear roadmap to help student athletes, coaches, and parents navigate the complex world of balancing sports and education. And now I am thrilled to bring this message to a wider audience as a proud member of the Cascade Sports Network. We're partnering to amplify these crucial conversations about student-athlete success. I believe every student-athlete deserves the opportunity to reach their full potential, both on and off the court and the field. You can purchase your copy directly from our website at www.ckasafeproject.org. Join me and the Cascade Sports Network as we work together to help every student-athlete succeed. Welcome back to the Odd Coaches Podcast, segment 2. Group of 6, off the American. What the heck happened to Army?
Tarleton State, the Texans.
So, any thoughts on the Americans, sir?
With the group, with mid-level, you have to take your chances sometimes, and this was one of those times because you can always get a real good, whether it's a Villanova or a Towson State or something, or JMU when they were there. When you schedule them early, and you're just a mid-major, just okay every once in a while. Army goes up and sometimes they're down. Last year they had one of those years where they were really good. This year, not so much. Had the same recruits. So you take your chances. It's a roll of the dice. And Army found out real quick. And they're not going to be the last one to find out. So we'll just put it like that.
Robert, can you tell us a little bit about Tarleton State as they beat our Armed Forces Academy?
All I know, here's what I can tell you. Tarleton State is in Stephenville, which is up 281 from me. They are in the United Conference, so they're FCS, and they're now 2-0 because last week they beat the brakes off of Portland State, and now beating Army, they're 2-0, so they're going to have some momentum here for a while. I have no idea of. If you give me a minute, I can look and tell you in their conference.
We're not going to care that much.
Other thing I'll tell you about the American is, and George already referred to this, look out for Tulane.
Yes.
Tulane is pretty good. UTSA.
Well done. They played well against Texas A&M.
They did not look terrible against Texas A&M. I haven't spoken to any Texas A&M folks to gauge their level of concern, but if I'm Texas A&M and that's the showing I have, I am a little concerned.
Well, Texas A&M's meter is always at 15, so it's always at a level of concern.
Hey, I live in the middle of that, and it is absolutely, the worst fans in the world are guys who are Aggie fans and Dallas Cowboy fans both. Those, if you're an Aggie fan and a Cowboys fan, I mean, you are by definition,
You have no hair now. You got no hair now. You got no hair now.
George, Conference USA. I think Liberty and Western Kentucky took care of business. Any thoughts on CUSA this week?
I gotta give Liberty a hell of a job with those coaches. They do a hell of a job recruiting that in the portal because I'm trying to figure out how they're still getting kids down there to come to school. Have you been to the mountain in the Appalachian Mountains?
I have had the pleasure.
Campus is beautiful, but hey man, it takes a lot to get them down there. But they're steadily getting them down there, and they keep putting teams together. That was it, man. We'll see. They're gonna have the same. It'll be the same group fighting in that situation.
All right, Robert. Good showing by Kennesaw State this week.
Yeah. New Mexico State started their season 1-0, beating Bryant 19-3.
New York.
Probably
be a little concerned that you only scored 19 points against Bryant.
Okay. All right, Robert, I'm going to stay with you with a little action. Again, good showing by Ohio. Any thoughts on action this week?
No, I watched a little bit of Buffalo. Who did they play?
Buffalo played.
Was it Minnesota? I think.
Minnesota because they were in that game. Buffalo.
Yeah, and they did not play bad. The MAC is always going to be entertaining. We know that, and when you're playing in crappy weather at Bowling Green on a Tuesday night in November, you never know what you're going to get.
Yeah. Speaking of Bowling Green, George, Eddie George got his win. Any thoughts on action this first week?
Yeah, happy for Eddie George, but I got to stay with Robert. Buffalo was staying out because I at one point in time I thought they were going to win that game. They were in it the entire time. I think there was one. They had a few more studs on the field than Buffalo had. So I think but that's going to bode well for Buffalo because they're going to, when they hit the MAC in conference play, it's going to nothing but benefit them.
I just remembered I got one more MAC thing, which is good because we're transitioning from the MAC to the Mountain West. Central Michigan kicked a field goal on the last play of the game to beat San Jose State.
Which takes me to this. Yes.
State is supposed to be one of the teams that could win the Mountain West, and they did not look good.
So if any conference had a bad week, it's the Mountain West Pac-2. So you got Boise taking L's. You got San Jose State taking L's. UNLV's 2-0. Robert, any thoughts on Mountain West Pac-2 week one?
I am surprised that Boise took it on the chin like they did. Yes, they went on the road, but I mean, you have a veteran quarterback coming back. I didn't see any of the game, so I don't know what I don't have a feel for what happened.
Go ahead, George.
They look inept. I mean, offensively they look like they couldn't do anything, and it surprises me. You have a the veteran quarterback coming back. He couldn't do anything. They couldn't protect him. He couldn't get the ball up. They played South Florida. They played South Florida.
But remember, George, I've always said South Florida shouldn't be as bad as they've been.
No.
But they shouldn't be Boise.
Right. So South Florida and Central Florida always, you can always come up with a great team right there because of where they're located. But they were outclassed. Period. Boise got nothing, and I've never seen Boise look like that. That was shocking.
Yeah. All right, George, I'm gonna stay with you. Sun Belt. James Madison looked good. Any thoughts on the Sun Belt this week?
It's gonna be a tough one, boy. I want to see how that rolls because I didn't get a chance to watch the Raging Cajuns because that's gonna be the big one to go take a look at when it comes to Sun Belt because they're gonna be that whole conference is you got some go getters right there. Texas State. Did Texas State lose this week? I didn't check.
I'll defer to our Texas correspondent.
They did win.
Okay.
They're heading into a big matchup. I think it's this week. It's either this week or next week. UTSA and Texas State. That's a big game.
Okay, yeah,
Right.
that's big. But hey man, when you look at that conference, they got a couple ones to be on the lookout for. But hey, JMU is gonna be dangerous again as usual. Don't schedule.
All right, Robert. Any thoughts on the Sun Belt before we wrap up with HBCUs?
No, sir.
All right.
I got nothing interesting. I'm sorry.
Shout out for the HBCUs. Howard got a win. South Carolina State got a win. Norfolk didn't though. How you gonna have all that fanfare and losing's not the issue, but you didn't look very good, and neither did Dell State.
No.
George, did you catch any HBCU action this week?
I did catch the Towson Virginia State game.
Norfolk State.
Norfolk State. You looked, I think we expected so much because of the fanfare that had been with it, and because of Vic was coming in as coach. But they're not ready. They weren't ready. They weren't ready for that level. They weren't ready for Towson on that level. So.
And my wife's a Towson alum, so shout out to the Tigers. Go Towson.
And I will say this. I did watch for a little while. North Carolina Central looks like the class again. So somebody better put enough together to beat them, because they're gonna be ready to roll.
Yeah.
All right.
Just to confirm, UTSA and Texas State. That game is this upcoming Saturday.
All right.
That's early.
Batten down the hatches.
That big game in the conference this early is huge, man.
Yep.
All right.
They're not in the same conference.
That's right.
UTSA is Conference USA and Texas State is Sun Belt.
Right.
So fans, when we get back in segment 3, we will talk about things strictly for entertainment purposes only as we prepare you for week 2. We'll be right back on the iCoach Podcast. Hi, everyone. Dr. Keith Adams here. And for over 30 years, I've dedicated my life to helping student athletes succeed, not just on the fields and the courts, but in the classroom and beyond. And that's why I founded the CKA Save Project. The CKA Save Project understands that finding the balance between academics and athletics is crucial for long-term success. That's why the CKA Save Project offers a range of programs, including personalized consulting, mentorship, and coming in 2027, our innovative Gap Year Basketball Academy designed to assist both young men and women reach their full potential both on and off the court. I'm incredibly excited to announce that the CKA Save Project is now partnering with the Cascade Sports Network. This partnership will allow us the opportunity to amplify our message and reach even more student athletes through the Odd Coaches podcast and other exciting initiatives. Join the CKA Save Project and the Cascade Sports Network as we empower the next generation of student athletes. Visit CKA on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org to learn more. Let's work together to find the balance and help unlock your potential. Welcome back to the iCoaches Podcast. In segment 3, we're talking about things strictly for entertainment purposes only. These are our preseason rankings. So yes, some teams won, some teams lost. We'll clean it all up next week when it's a regular week. So we got Texas SEC champ, then Penn State Big Ten champ. George, hold on. Kansas State Big 12. That's probably not going to happen, but that was preseason. Clemson ACC. And Group of 6 Tulane will probably agree with that. At large, Notre Dame, Georgia, Ohio State, Texas Tech, Miami, and Alabama. That's all preseason, folks, so don't at me. On the outside looking in, Tennessee, Oregon, keep your mascot's head on. Arizona State, Duke, and Boise State, and that's not going to happen. But again, preseason, next week, everything will clean itself up. Follow me on Odd Coaches on the X platform. for all of our strictly for entertainment purposes stuff. All right. So again, not a complete week because we've got games on Sunday and Monday, and we tape on Sunday mornings. Some wins, some losses. Full update next week. George, looking at the schedule for next week, is there any game that catches your eye, sir?
I'm looking. I noticed that the SEC starts conference play next week, so I think is Kentucky playing Mississippi State next? Who's Kentucky? I think's got the in-state game. I mean, in conference game. I think they're playing like Mississippi State or somebody next week. I think that's the one I saw that looked like because we're still on that period of playing. Everybody's still got Sisters of the Poor scheduled, so it hasn't gotten huge yet. So uh, let's see. Ted, yeah, oh yeah, it's Kentucky and Ole Miss. Kentucky and Ole Miss next week is going to be interesting. Michigan, Oklahoma. Um, Big one for me is going to be Illinois and Duke because
Mm-hmm.
I think Duke is good. So I want to see what Duke does and how they're going to come out. And of course, for Robert down in the good old great state of Texas, Baylor SMU, I know is going to have everybody out there ready to roll. And my last one's going to be going to want to see what so I want to see what Florida's going to be this year because they got South Florida coming in, and it should be a good test for them.
All right, Robert. Anything catch your eye for week 2?
I mean Baylor SMU for sure. We already talked about UTSA, Texas State. That going to pay attention to that. UCLA plays UNLV. If UCLA can't beat UNLV,
It's gonna be a problem.
Hey, Robert, I got news for you. UNLV's winning that game.
I do not bet. However, that if you are a betting man, that might be a game to take a look at.
You can't go 0-3 or whatever. UCLA's got to do better. For me, James Madison against Louisville this coming Friday.
Yeah.
We always want to see when the group of 6 can take on a group of 4 team and actually win. So that's going to catch my eye. Howard is playing Temple. So again, when HBCUs get a chance to play a reasonably challenging team, let's just not get embarrassed, gentlemen. Kansas against Missouri has my eye because Missouri does NIL very well, and Kansas, Lance Leopold is going to stay there because he missed his opportunity to play. And another sneaky good game, and George, you may agree with me, Delaware is traveling to Colorado. Now, Delaware historically has been one of the better FCS schools, and they are the only show in town in Delaware, and they have funneled a lot of time and resources there. And this is one of their big opportunity games. And Colorado, they didn't play overly bad, but they didn't play overly well. And if they sleep on Delaware, they might have some national news coming their way. Go ahead.
Did any of you guys? I saw a little bit of the Kansas game. I can't remember who they played. They did not look
Kansas.
Oh God, who did they start off? Yeah, who did they play? I watched part of it, and by the time I got to them, they were up. I mean, they had
yeah.
started.
I mean, they did not have any. I mean, they were not challenged, but they didn't look great. And of course,
they played Wagner.
Missouri beat the brakes off of Central Arkansas or somebody. I don't know who they played. It was like 60-0. So I mean, neither of those 2 games meant anything. But it'll be interesting to see when you have to step up in competition how those 2 teams react.
I will pay, and one thing will continue to pay attention to this year. I want to see how the pollsters and when we get to the playoff, how they handle one of our group of 6 teams, because Tulane and JMU have a real shot to be be in the mix. And then what are you going to do with them?
Yeah.
Because the way their schedules are and the way they look right now, I think they're gonna run through I think they're gonna pretty much run through their conferences. So I want to see how that's gonna look. That JMU Louisville game is huge for a whole lot of reasons next week, and Louisville better strap up. That's all I got to say. Because Carolina found out last year, so they better be ready.
All right. So on behalf of our cavalcade of stars, I'm Dr. Keith Adams saying thank you for listening and or watching the Eye Coaches podcast, also seen on the Cascade Sports Network. And we will see you on the sidelines. Until next time, take care.
The Eye Coaches podcast is sponsored by the CKA Save Project. The CKA Save Project is an industry leader in providing student-athlete academic and athletic support. From assessing student-athletes' academic and athletic skills, to measuring and monitoring student-athlete academic progress, to improving student-athlete time management and organizational skills, the CKA Save Project provides wraparound services for student-athletes from middle school through college. For more information, visit us on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org or schedule a free consultation with Dr. Keith Adams by emailing cka@ckasaveproject.org. We hope you enjoyed today's show. The Odd Coaches podcast drops new episodes every Tuesday through Friday on most weeks. Make sure you subscribe to the Odd Coaches podcast on Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Spotify, and YouTube. Follow the Odd Coaches podcast on Twitter and Instagram at Odd Coaches. Follow Dr. Adams on Twitter and Instagram at CKA Save Project. In addition, follow Coach Mike Francis on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Franchise, spelled Coach FRANCHIZE. For more information about the CKA Save Project, please visit them on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org. See you next time on the Odd Coaches Podcast.